Hi, I'm Adam Parker from Trivector Research, and we've been getting a lot of questions about current market sentiment. And look, I think people still think this AI trade is on. There's no question about that. But those of you who follow our work know we've been trying to find other ways to add some value. And we think it comes from things that aren't correlated to the AI semiconductor basket that also have positive fundamentals. And we've noticed there's a lot of healthcare on that list. That's our number one idea relative to the index. I think if you're an S&P 500 focused, or for your clients who are S&P 500 focused, it's very important to ask yourself some questions. How do I think about risk management? Do I own stocks for alpha or for risk? How do I think about concentration versus diversification? Do I own a small portfolio or a large, a small portfolio or a large one? How do I think about beta, et cetera? Do I want to run a above beta fund or a below beta 1 fund, et cetera? And so we did a bunch of work on this topic. Our conclusion is that you're going to end up owning a slightly higher beta than normal, more diversified than normal fund right now, just because the biggest 8 stocks are 41% of the S&P 500, but when you multiply it by beta, they're 55%. And I think you should be pretty close to market weight these stocks, because frankly, you don't know anything about them that anyone else doesn't know. You really know NVIDIA? I mean, 2 quarters ago, Google's CapEx was bad, now it's good. Meta's was great, now it's bad. Like, it's very hard to keep up with that. So if your market weight those big 8 stocks, and you own a bunch of other things correlated to the AI trade, then you've got to find some things outside of that to make larger bets in healthcare or other areas. So I think you own a lot of stocks for risk management. You own the big 8 in market weight, and you take big bets in names that you think can beat the index. That's the strategy for beating long only. We certainly think the AI trade will still work. There's increasing concerns. People are talking about Oracle CDS as an interesting way to look at it and not blowing out. That's been a thought people have had. Obviously people are talking about CoreWeave with their earnings missed today as I'm recording this. But I think the overall bolus of the activity will come down to what happens on the 19th with NVIDIA for this earnings season. Generally, I think people expect a solid quarter. Jensen's been around, pretty confident. You heard OpenAI CEO talk about their revenue going to $100 billion in 2027. So you track OpenAI's revenue, you track Anthropic's to the best you can. The AI trade is still on. Of course, they're going to eventually overbuild a data center, but getting in front of that's going to be challenging. I still am bullish on equities. I think the risk reward is still decent despite high valuations, but I'm into diversification. I want to run, if I'm trying to beat it long only, beat the SP, I want a diversified fund. For risk management purposes, I want to own the Mag 8 and market weight, and I want to take shots at areas like healthcare, where I think the market's telling me 0% chance healthcare is the best performing sector in the market for the next 3 to 5 years. And I think it's 30 or 40% because I see a lot of businesses that have the ability to expand their margins. For any questions, hit us up, sales@trivectorresearch.com. Thanks a lot.